Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I want to go over what the top 5 best mains are in MapleStory right now. Now, these classes are some of the most meta classes currently in the game. All of these classes are insanely good right now and are the absolute best of the best in the current meta. And whether you are just starting to play MapleStory or are looking for a new main to play, these classes are top tier at basically every stage in the game, and especially in the late and end game. So yeah, let's get into number 5. Now at number 5, I'm gonna have to go with Nightwalker. Nightwalker has had a crazy history in MapleStory, especially over the last few years. It was widely considered the strongest class in the game for quite some time, and the class has fallen a few ranks since then, as I'd say it used to be the second best class in the game for a while when it was in its prime. But at number 5 now, I think it's still insanely good, and the upcoming 2-minute patch is going to do absolute wonders for this class to make it significantly more smooth to play. And yeah, this class has so much going for it. It has very good mobility with one of the best backsteps in the game, and also one of the best flash jumps in the game as well. And it has great survivability. It has a skill called Dark Sight, which allows you to tank a lot of bosses' mechanics. And it also has a class door, which means you can tank an entire life. And the way this class's burst works is actually insanely good. It has a very condensed burst, and it's a very easy burst to pull off, especially because of the new skill sequencing system. And it's honestly one of the best classes in the game for doing a lot of damage in a very condensed amount of time. And it's only going to get better with future patches. And the training on this class is actually very good as well. It's actually widely considered to have the second best training in the entire game through a method called bite farming. And you do have to be very strong to be able to bite farm, but once you get enough power to be able to bite farm, it is almost unmatched in terms of how easy it is to train on this class. But yeah, with a great burst, great mobility, great survivability, easy to pull off burst, a strong burst, and great farming, I would say this class is definitely worthy of the number 5 slot. And it's one of the best pure damage dealer classes that is on this list. So if you want to play a class that does a lot of damage and that is very quick and nimble and has high mobility, then I definitely say that Nightwalker is the class for you. Now at the number 4 slot, the next class I want to talk about is Bowmaster. Now I would consider Bowmaster the easiest class in the entire game to play, and you would think that because it's so easy it doesn't really do a whole lot, but Bowmaster I would say is one of, if not the best non-support classes in the game, and it just does an insane amount of damage for how easy the class is to play. Its burst is the only class in the game that only uses one button to execute its entire burst. It has incredibly good uptime because the burst lasts for a long time. It also has very good mobility, and you can deal damage and burst while you're moving. It has a flash jump, and you can use another skill called covering fire in combination with the flash jump for even better mobility. And it has a teleport placement summon that you can use whenever you want to immediately teleport back to where you place the summon. Now all of those things are great mobility, and by themselves they are very good, but in an upcoming patch, Bowmasters are actually getting a dash soon, which is going to make their mobility even better. So the class definitely has a bright future in terms of the updates it's going to be getting. And along with the mobility, it has great survivability. It has a skill called Silhouette, which basically gives you the ability to tank lives and a bunch of damage for completely free. And it also has a skill called Blood Arrows, and Blood Arrows allow you to constantly heal while you are hitting the boss, which gives you the ability to stay alive significantly longer than a lot of the other classes in the game. So yeah, the class being the easiest class in the entire game and being a one button burst class, I wouldn't underestimate that fact because it has a very strong burst and great mobility and survivability and just great uptime on all of its damage. And it has the best theoretical damage that actually translates to a real boss fight. So if you go practice on a boss dummy, and because the boss just sits there and it's not a real boss that moves around, because when a boss moves around a lot, it's harder to keep damage uptime on the boss. But Bowmaster has the highest uptime on real bosses in the game. So yeah, this class is just insanely good, especially if you're a new player and you're not really sure how a lot of the mechanics in MapleStory work quite yet. I would definitely choose Bowmaster, as not only is it very easy to play, it is one of the strongest classes in the game in terms of just its overall kit and its overall damage as well. And yeah, that's Bowmaster. Now moving on to number 3, the class I want to talk about is Kanna. Now Kanna has had a very rocky road in MapleStory's past, especially over the last 5 or 6 years. And to be honest, I have absolutely no idea how this class has gotten into the position that it's in right now. But good God, is this class extremely strong right now. Somehow it is the number 1 best damage dealer in the game, and it also gives support as well. Now the mobility is very good on this class it actually has one of the longest teleport ranges in the game. And I would argue that teleport is just a better skill than flash jump, at least in terms of bossing, because teleport has no animation, whereas flash jump does have an animation. And because Kanna has one of the best and longest ranges on teleport, it just kind of intrinsically makes Kanna one of the best mobility classes in the game. And it also has a very long air stall. You can kind of just sit up in the air for a very long time. So it's good for bosses that have a lot of stuff going on the ground that you need to avoid by being in the air. And it also has great survivability. It has a very good damage resistance skill that gives 40% damage resistance, and it works against percent HP attacks, which means you can tank one-shot kills with it. And it has a skill called Yuki that constantly recovers your HP and is single-handedly one of the best survivability skills in the entire game, just because of the amount of HP that it constantly recovers. And yeah, this class is also a support class, and it gives tons of buffs to your party. It has a skill called Haku that gives your entire party damage, and it also has a skill called Bellflower Barrier that gives you even more damage and boss damage when you're in it. And Kanna is just one of the best support classes in the game right now, as well as being the #1 damage dealer in the game, at least in the current patch that we're in. And basically all late and end game parties want a Kanna in their party, and Kanna is just currently extremely meta in the current late and end game. And Kanna is a non-KMS class, and Team GMS sometimes does some weird buffs and nerfs to this class, so it's a little bit inconsistent in terms of where this class is going to go in the meta of the game. And yeah, a lot of the late and end game is just dominated by support classes, which is why Kanna is so far up on this list. Now, the next class I want to go over in the #2 slot is going to be Lynn. Now, some people would even argue that Lynn is #1, but regardless, this class is absolutely insane, and it's pretty much been insane and very meta in basically all stages of the game since Lynn came out, and that's for a bunch of reasons. The first is that it's a very good party support class, and party support classes are extremely meta right now. It has tons of party buffs. It has an overshield, and you can give a party member an overshield as well. It has a heal skill, which can heal party members and can bypass the pot cooldowns in boss fights. And it can also dispel your party members. And it has a skill called Purify, which constantly dispels your party members every 2 seconds. And it has single-handedly the most broken party support skill in the game, and the skill is called Awaken, and it can basically double your highest damage dealer in the party. Their entire burst will get doubled from Awaken, and a buff like that makes Lynn basically invaluable, because if there's someone very, very strong in your party and you can double their damage, there's basically no other class in the game that can do anything like that, which is why it's so sought after and everyone will want you in their party. Now, the solo damage isn't that strong, but when you're in a party, giving that other party member that much extra damage will definitely make up for the solo damage. And just the fact that this class has an insane amount of heals, you're almost unkillable from the amount of heals that you get. I mean, Forest Protection that gives damage resistance and is a door skill all in one is also just crazy survivability and party support. And I could honestly go on and on about how much crazy party support this class has. It's just one of the best classes in the game. The only downside to this class, I would say, is that it's a non-KMS class, so it's very uncertain if it's going to get nerfed in the future. And I would say that that's the only thing holding it back from being truly #1, because it's hard to justify maining a class long term if there's a lot of uncertainty in what Nexon will do with the class. And that leads me to my #1 class, which is Bishop. Now, this class is the opposite of uncertain. Bishop has been a top 3 class in the game for over a decade now. I can't even remember a time in MapleStory's history where this class hasn't at least been top 3. Now, Bishop and Lynn are very similar, as they are both support classes, so they play very similar roles in the game. But I think Bishop is more of a staple class than basically every other class, because if you have a Bishop with you in a boss fight, it kind of changes the way the entire boss fight flows. And let me tell you why. So when you are just normally attacking the boss as a Bishop, you use a skill called Angel Ray, and Angel Ray is a very good bossing skill. It does decent damage, but the thing that makes their main attacking skill so good is that it not only constantly heals you, it also constantly heals your entire party while you are just normally attacking the boss. And the reason this is so good is because you have a source that is constantly healing you, and you don't have to be doing anything for it to happen. It basically just happens all passively in the background. And if somehow your party members do get low HP, you have a dedicated heal skill as well that bypasses the pot cooldown. And yeah, the healing is amazing on this class. It's second to none. And this class can buff up your party with even more damage with a skill called Benediction, which is the best party-wide damage buff skill in the game. And it has Real Door, which over the course of long boss fights, you'll get multiple extra lives that you can tank, which no other class can do. The skill was so good that they literally made it a buff that you can just buy in pot form. And it has a Real Fountain, which all your party members can go to for a lot of healing. And Fountain was also so good that they also gave it to every other class in the game as a decent skill, but the real version of it is way better because it gives you a lot more healing. And this class gets Real Holy Symbol, which all the other classes have a decent version of that as well. But Bishop's version is way stronger, obviously, because it's the real version. So it gets a very good EXP and drop rate buff. So Bishops actually get the most amount of EXP while training in the entire game because of Real Holy Symbol. And they get the highest drop rate available to any class as well. So it having a higher EXP and drop rate than everyone else makes it so that you're able to train faster and get more drops than everyone while you're training. And that drop rate also affects you killing bosses as well. So you get a little bit of extra drop rate for your boss drops. I would argue that Bishop is the best support class in the game right now, and it has been for a long time, because its overall kit is just so good and such a staple to MapleStory. I mean, the class is so good that they basically had to give away half of its skills to all the other classes because Bishop itself is just so game warping that they needed to give everyone else a little piece of it. And because MapleStory's meta is currently dominated by party support classes, and because Bishop is the best party support class in the game, Bishop just de facto earns itself the #1 spot on the list. Anyways, guys, that's my top 5 best mains list. What do you guys think about this list? Do you think any of the other classes should be in the top 5? And let me know your thoughts on the 5 that I put on this list. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more MapleStory videos, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace!